Right, Keir Starmer, the war hawk of the UK. That's right, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, is ready to put UK troops on the ground in Ukraine. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Also, banging on about, Ukraine's on an irreversible path to joining NATO. Is it? Is it? I thought everyone had to vote unanimously on people joining NATO, didn't they? Pretty certain the US doesn't want that to happen. Interesting. This is, interesting turn of events. The Prime Minister in the UK is obviously, and quite rightly, hated. So his war hawk mentality is not going to go down very well, I don't think. You know, it's incredibly unlikely that British troops would want to go to Ukraine and want to fight for Keir Starmer. And I know people say, well, it won't be for Keir Starmer, it'll be for the UK. Will it? Will it? I mean, what exactly do we have, that with Ukraine? That we were never actually allies. If you look at the history of it, we were never actually allies. I understand now we've become allies, but we there was never anything actually going on there. Really quite bizarre, to be honest, but whatever. The whole point of this is that, peace talks are happening, and I know that there's discussion about, well, peace talks, they're going to be biased and blah, blah, blah. Sure, okay, right, okay. But they are happening. This seemingly escalates things out of nowhere as well, just completely out of nowhere. Europe seems to be really surprised that Donald Trump is doing what he says he was going to do. He said all the way up to the election day what he was going to do, and then all of a sudden Europe's like, it's come out of the blue. How? Because you didn't take him seriously. That's because you're a joke, and the UK's a joke. No one is taken seriously because you say stuff and you never do it. Whereas Donald Trump, at least when he says he's going to do something, he does it. Anyway, whatever. We're going to take a look at this. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Do turn those bell notifications on. And definitely hit subscribe if you're a returning viewer and you enjoy a straight down the line approach to content such as this. So I'm going to be looking at two very biased sources, or two articles on a very biased source, which is the BBC. So if this looks bad even on the BBC, yes, real bad. This is an incredibly biased source, and that's why I thought I would take it from here, because I thought it'd be funny just to see how truly bad it actually looks and how it actually reads. But yeah, Prime Minister is ready to put troops on the ground in Ukraine to protect peace. Right. Okay. Keir Starmer, the Granny Harmer, has said he is ready and willing to put UK troops on the ground in Ukraine to help guarantee its security as part of a peace deal. Well, that seems fairly reasonable, doesn't it? Oh, wait. The UK Prime Minister said securing a lasting peace in Ukraine was essential if we are to deter Putin from further aggression in the future. Is it, though? Is it? Is it? I don't think it is. I think that's you having some wild assumptions about what he actually wants to do. But okay. Ahead of an emergency summit, I love the fact that European leaders are like, we've got to have an emergency summit now. It's like, did you not listen to what Trump said he was going to do? Like, really? So they're having an emergency summit in Paris today, actually. Sir Keir Starmer said that the UK was prepared to contribute to security guarantees to Ukraine by putting our own troops on the ground if necessary. Now, that reads very different, doesn't it? The UK is prepared to contribute to security guarantees by putting our own troops on the ground. I do not say that lightly. I feel very deeply the responsibility that comes with potentially putting British servicemen and women in harm's way. But any role in helping to guarantee Ukraine's security is helping to guarantee the security of our continent and the security of this country. You couldn't secure a poop in a toilet, Keir Starmer, unfortunately. We don't have borders, so that we're a borderless country. So that's not secure. There's so many people dying on the altar of, this diverse woke utopia that you seemingly want to create. We're not secure anyway. And now you want to, what looks like, escalate the situation? Because that looks like escalation to me. It seems really weird that both prime ministers, or any prime minister in fact, gets very close to peace with Ukraine and Russia, and then they scarper it. Boris Johnson famously ruined a peace deal and has now led to hundreds of thousands of people being killed. Well done, Boris. So the end of Russia's war with Ukraine, quote, when it comes, cannot merely become a temporary pause before Putin attacks again, he said. So what you're saying is you're just going to have troops permanently stationed in Ukraine? I'm sure British people really want to be permanently in Ukraine. What are you doing? So this means UK troops could be deployed alongside soldiers from other European nations, alongside the border between Ukraine-held and Russia-held territory. So Keir has previously only hinted that the British troops could be involved in safeguarding Ukraine after a ceasefire. Health Secretary Wes Streeting said the government views the war in Ukraine as the front line for Europe and the front line for Britain. He told the BBC that the UK is prepared to play its part in securing the long-term future for Ukraine, for Europe and for Britain's national security. We don't have national security because we don't have borders, you pleb. This is pretty full on. So he said sending troops to Ukraine would come at a considerable cost and require an increase in funding for the military. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. More tax. Frankly, we haven't got the numbers and we haven't got the equipment to put a large force onto the ground for an extended period of time at the present moment. Former MI6 chief Sir John Sawyers also warned that any peacekeeping force sent to Ukraine after the war must have a very clear mandate to ensure a ceasefire agreement holds. Sir Keir, who is due to visit President Donald Trump in Washington later this month, said a US security guarantee is essential for a lasting peace because only the US can deter Putin from attacking again. Right. But you're going against him on that massively, in fact, by saying Ukraine has an irreversible path to joining NATO now. So Sir Keir Starmer has affirmed that the UK will continue to back Ukraine's irreversible path to joining NATO, despite leading figures in President Donald Trump's administration appearing to rule out membership. Right, okay. Well, that's not good then, is it? That's seemingly going against the US, and you are banking on the US for peace in Ukraine. This doesn't add up, does it? It doesn't really add up. No. This guy's a war hawk. This is dangerous times, guys. We're watching history unfold. Trump said he had a lengthy conversation with Putin and that negotiations to stop the ridiculous war in Ukraine would begin immediately. Trump then informed Zelensky of his plan. And the thing is, loads of people are like, well, Zelensky should be there for peace talks. Yeah, I guess he should. But when other countries have funded the war for so long, they do absolutely have a say in it stopping. Otherwise, they're then going to stop funding and then they're all going to die anyway. So, yeah. And I'm not like pro-Russia. I'm not pro-Ukraine. I don't care. Ukraine was or is the most corrupt country in the world. So I'm not pro-Ukraine. I'm not pro-Russia. I don't like either of them. I'm sure the people are actually lovely, just as an FYI. It's your governments that suck. I think that's a perfectly reasonable statement to make before everyone cries down below in the comments that I'm like some random pro-Russia propagandist or some nonsense. I don't bloody know. But yeah, so writing in the Telegraph, Sir Keir said, peace cannot come at any cost. Ukraine must be at the table in these negotiations because anything less would accept Putin's position that Ukraine is not a real nation. We cannot have another situation like Afghanistan where the US negotiated directly with the Taliban and cut out the Afghan government. I feel that President Trump will want to avoid this too. Yeah, this is really messed up. This is all messed up. But what this has had an effect on is, at least Trump's actions, has had an effect on European leaders going, ah, shit, we should probably spend some more money on defence. But what this will probably lead to, which I'm massively against, is a European army. That's bad. That's like solidifying Europe as one thing. And that's real bad because they've not been governing it correctly and it's not a democracy. And it means that that's just really, really, really bad. Yeah, it's not good. Why are our leaders so intent on murdering people? Because that's all that's going to happen. More people will be murdered. It's just sad. You know, Ukraine and Russia, it's like the killing fields out there. It's awful. It's truly awful stuff. The videos that I've seen are horrendous. No one, all of this could have been avoided. Boris Johnson had the opportunity to get a peace deal and he fucked it. And the Prime Minister of the UK currently looks like he's screwing it as well. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So let me know your thoughts down below. Again, don't accuse me of being pro-Russia. I don't care. I'm sure the Russians are lovely, like lovely people. I've met some Russians. They're really nice. I'm sure the Ukrainians are really nice as well. I'm sure they are. It's your governments. Both your governments suck. All right? They suck. Anyway, what do you think? Thoughts down below. Bye now.